We're nearing the end of July and there is still no word on the next DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2. It looks like this speculation video that I did, in which I predicted the DLC wouldn't come until August or maybe even September, is sadly being proven true. So to bridge the gap while we wait for news, I thought I would come up with my own DLC, the Late Jurassic Species pack. Jurassic World Evolution 2, surprisingly, doesn't have that many species from the Jurassic, something I realized as I was building my real Jurassic Park, which uses all Jurassic species in the game. By the way, you can check out that build and the full tour on the channel, and subscribe while you're there, just like all of these awesome people did. The channel's growing super fast right now, so thanks to everyone for the support. Disclaimer, I don't think more species is what the game needs most. I don't think after skipping June with just a couple of decorations, a species pack instead of an expansion is the way to go. More on that, a little bit of a rant at the end of this video. But I just had a lot of time thinking about Jurassic species as I was building my park, so here we go. These are the 4 late Jurassic species that I would love to see added to the game. The first pick for my pack is a no-brainer, and it is the immensely popular Torvosaurus. It's so popular that I am surprised it hasn't made it into the game yet.
Ah yes, the Torvosaurus, an apex predator of the Jurassic. Its sleek profile made it a formidable foe for even the biggest of prey items. If you want my advice, it's best observed from a safe distance.
You might say it's unoriginal, but big carnivores do have an undeniable presence in a park. They really add to the wow factor. Frontier has done well introducing more smaller species in recent DLCs, but there is a reason why the big carnivores are as popular as they are, so for this DLC I am adding 2 of them. The Torvosaurus, and for the second species, I nominate Yangchuanosaurus. I probably mispronounced that, but that's okay. I was convinced this species was from the Cretaceous, but lucky me, it was actually already strutting across planet Earth in the late Jurassic. Now, I did consider Saurophaganax for this pretend DLC because I love Saurophaganax, and I'd love to see it get added to the game, but I want Yangchuanosaurus just a tiny bit more. Yangchuanosaurus was one of my favorite modded species for Jurassic World Evolution 1, and I couldn't pronounce the name then either. I had all this time to practice, still haven't nailed it. But it was an absolutely beautiful design by Jagged Fang. I loved that mod, and if Frontier would make this species official, I would need it to be as colorful and as patterned as that mod was, because I still love it.
This is an Archeopteryx. Its fossil was one of the most important scientific discoveries ever made. Not only was it the first feathered dinosaur found, but we now know its colours were mostly black and white, much like a magpie.
The third species in my late Jurassic pack would be Archeopteryx. I think this small avian dinosaur would be a perfect addition to our aviaries, especially if they make its feathery coat super brightly colored, comparable to what they did for the Pyroraptor. Now, we know that every DLC comes with an amazing free update that also introduces new content to the game. So in this fictional world where my late Jurassic pack is the actual DLC that is coming, the update that would come out alongside it would include mini exhibits, like the mini aviary we have in Prehistoric Kingdom. And only the smallest flying creatures would be compatible, like the Jalopterus, the Archeopteryx, and Dimorphodon. If you wanted to, you could still release those species in the big aviaries as well. This just gives you the option to put them in a smaller enclosure. Before I tell you what my 4th and final species in this pack would be, I can already reveal that it's not a marine reptile, and I should explain why, because me not picking a marine reptile might be seen as controversial, because the past DLCs have neglected the category of marine species entirely. Only the Kronosaurus was added to the underwater roster. As a result, a lot of people are antsy to see more marine creatures get added. I think the way to go would be to make a full marine species pack that is paired with an update that completely overhauls the lagoons in the game, allowing us more creative control over the lagoons, like changing the water depth and having a kelp foliage brush, as well as other much needed improvements to make the lagoons more exciting to build, more dynamic, just more fun. As it is, with the lagoons in their current form, I'm personally not particularly interested in seeing more marine species get added. I'm sorry, more species isn't going to make the lagoons better. The lagoons themselves need to be better first. Because as it is, I don't build that many lagoons in my parks to begin with, because they are not fun to build. So that's why I would say just add in a dedicated DLC with 4 marine species in combination with an update dedicated to improving their enclosures, i.e. the lagoons. Okay, so with that said, the last species that I would include in the pack is Nanosaurus, previously known as Othnielia, which is the name under which it appears in the original Jurassic Park novel. I think this would be a good way to trickle in the last of the missing novel species by including them in other species packs. And they could potentially do the same with other missing species like Torvosaurus and Nothosaurus from Camp Cretaceous. As I've suggested in past videos, they could just include these in other themed DLCs and add a Camp Cretaceous variant for them on top of Frontier's own design. The challenge with the Nanosaurus would be to make it stand out from Dryosaurus, but they could have fun with that. Like, potentially a fun way to do that is to give it some feathering or other changes. I know that the change that they made for Deinonychus has not gone down well with everyone in the community, but you know, I understand the reasoning behind it. I understand that they need to diversify what the roster looks like, so I personally would be open to them getting creative with the dinosaur design to make them more exciting additions to the roster, you know, when they originally resemble species that we already have. If you like the idea of a Jurassic pack coming to the game, give the video a like, and of course let me know in a comment down below what Jurassic species you would add to the game. And while you're down there, also type up a little bit of advice on whether you would want a similar video about Triassic and Permian species packs. Normally my channel is all about excitement and building, whee! I'm just like having fun, genuine fun with this game. But I do want to rant about this past June a little bit, and I didn't want to do a dedicated video on it, so I'm smuggling it in here, since it is on the topic of DLCs. So unfortunately, it looks like my SteamDB-based prediction that we would have to wait until at least August for the next DLC, possibly even September, is coming true. As I've tweeted previously, that puts the Jurassic Park anniversary update in a very different light. Like, how did we just have a massive anniversary of a legendary franchise, and instead of a feast, we had crumbs? It's kind of like your parents saying, hey, would you like dessert today? And like, heck yeah, you want dessert, so you agree. But surprise, you are getting dessert instead of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, all these good freaking meals that you're counting on getting, just, you know, completely normal expectations based on the past, you're not getting any of that. I don't know why my analogies are always about food, but you get it, right? Like, we were expecting breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but all we got is pudding. So now we are hungry. I know this comes off as super ungrateful, I'm aware, because we got free stuff, so I shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I can't help but feel shortchanged when the anniversary gift comes instead of the regular stuff that we were expecting, the regular stuff that would have been much more substantial, the regular stuff that we probably would have preferred. Like, if we had to choose between 20 decorations or a DLC and a free update that introduces something like new maps, new attractions, new features, new game modes possibly even. Like, as awesome as those decorations are, you would choose the other stuff, right? Because it's just more. So now the predominant sentiment that I'm seeing in my comments and Twitter replies is that this next DLC has to be good, it has to be big to make up for this long period of starvation between the Feather DLC and the upcoming DLC, whenever that is actually gonna come. And I can only hope that they are aware of this and that whatever is coming is gonna be good enough to rinse the weird aftertaste of this pudding out of our mouths. Let me know in a comment down below what you think about all of this. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.